name is Barb, and I'd like to do a book talk about my most favorite book, The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. It is set in rural South Carolina, 1964, and at the time when civil rights movement was very agitated and active, and it is about a 14-year-old white girl named Lily Owens. Lily has spent most of her life troubled by the fact that she accidentally shot her mother at the age of 4 in a scuffle with her parents. And since that time, she has been nannied by a black woman named Rosaline, who ends up getting in trouble with the community when trying to get her voter's registration. So Lily decides to run away, take Rosaline with her, and they go to a town called Tiburon, South Carolina. She chose this town because one of the few things that she has left of her mother's was a small picture of a black Virgin Mary, and on the back it was written Tiburon, South Carolina. Lily's hope is that she will find some clues to her mother's past in this town. So she goes to Tiburon with Rosaline. They come across a general store, and in that store, Lily finds jars of honey with the label that has the same picture of the Black Virgin Mary. So she asks the storekeeper where the honey comes from and learns that it is made by a local black woman named August Boatwright. August lives with her sisters May and June. So Lily and Rosaline head over to the Boatwright house and lie to August and tell her that they're passing through looking for a job to earn some money so that she can get to her aunt's house. Lily is unaware that August knows who she is and that August had been Lily's mother's nanny for several years. So she invites Rosalie and Lily to stay as long as they'd like, and they bunk up in the honey house. Now, I love this book for a couple of reasons. One, I never have read a book more than one time. This book I've read 3 or 4 times, and it brings tears to my eyes every time. The author is so good at getting you in touch with the emotions that are in the story. The second thing I like about it is the analogies that the character August makes to bees are not really about bees, it's about life in general. For instance, she takes Lily on as her apprentice, and she tells Lily, the world is one big bee yard, and don't be afraid, no loving bee wants to sting, but don't be an idiot, wear long pants and long sleeves. She talks about that anger agitates bees, as well as obviously anger can agitate us as well, and that whistling soothes them. So no, even if you don't know what you're doing, pretend like you do. So August is a source of strength for the people around her, for her sisters, for her friends, and becomes a source of nurturing love and strength for Lily. The Virgin Mary picture is about a statue of a black Virgin Mary that the Boatwrights have in their house, and it is a center of their Sunday worship. August leads her own worship service in her house, and they refer to her, the statue, as the Lady in Chains. And she teaches Lily that, as a form of a feminine divine, that the power is not in the statue. She's not a magic being. She's not just a statue. It's something that is inside of you, inside of all women, and that they can learn to have confidence and forgive themselves and find strength in themselves and take that with them. August is a very good example of that. It is unusual that in that time that you would have a single black woman, also an entrepreneur, not following society's rules where it's a man's world, which Lily can relate to because she's been under her father's abusive thumb her whole life. And she learns through August that she does have choices and that she does not have to be defined by her father or her gender or her past. Towards the end of the story, T-Ray finds out where Lily is, and he comes to the Boatwright house and demands that she comes back. So it is a very interesting turn where Lily has to decide, is she going to be forced to go home with T-Ray, or will she take what she has learned from bee etiquette and from August and her surrogate family and make some decisions on her own and let life lead her down a different path. Read the book. and you decide.